How much does a DAC matter? This music is perfect. Akiba made war. Fuck. I'm sure there's a copyright strike in there somewhere. Look how sad that is. That like I look at this and there's music playing. It's like, oh, this could end my career. Music should never end anyone's career, except for Yoko Ono. Anyway, hello, Zeospantera, host of Z Reviews, Inner Fetish, all that, Wallpaper in the Wallpaper Horde, and we're reviewing something on this desk. Can you guess what it is? Is it a headphone? Is it Geshelli Labs? It is. In fact, it's one of the most requested reviews. The socketed, specifically socketed Geshelli Labs J2 DAC. Now, I posed the question of does DACs make a difference? And there's a reason I'm doing this review. I don't even know what time it is. There's no clock or anything. But I'm working on the other side of the basement right now. I mean, right now I'm doing this, but I came over here to get something. I came over here to get this DAC, to bring it to the other side of the basement to run a test. And I said, no, wait. It's been here for like 3 weeks. I've been using it for 3 weeks. I'm ready to do this review. Let's talk about it. And then let's bring it over to the speaker arena and actually find out if it matches up with my concept of better DACs. Because this is a whole new concept for me. All right? I had a DAC, and then I switched it to another smaller, cheaper DAC, and it went, oh, sound bad. Why? What happened? Oh, my God. And then I changed wires, and then I went back to a $900 SMSL SU10 DAC, and I'm like it's smoothed out and everything. So I want to know if this can compete with a $900 DAC. And the thing is, you might be going, well, Zeos, it's such a cheap DAC. You say that. But if we go, and if you don't know what socketed means, it means we can swap the op amps. These little fucking guys. See these little guys? Aren't they adorable? Just like on the Fosse speaker amp, op amps work for both those and everything that's an amplifier basically has one of these little control modules in it, and they vary in quality. And they vary in price. So a standard J2, which here is a standard J2, in a wooden case, you get the wood, or you can grab the aluminum, or you can grab the special aluminum. Ooh, actually, if you load, hold on, let me go back. If we load the main page of Geshelli Labs, because they're an American-made company, everything they do is American-made, hand-make the wood and everything. When you load it, these numbers form, baby form. And it says lead time in weeks. 4 weeks for aluminum. 6 weeks for a straight wood side, which is this. And then if you want Grandpa to do the dovetails, which looks like this, those nice things, that's 8 weeks. So you're going to have to make a decision how long you want to wait, because good things come to those who wait. So this, all right, well, this is a J2, but this is also a J2. Actually, this is an original Jnog, but it's basically the same as far as layout. Power input, 4 lights that show you status. One that just says power, that it blinks for rear input. It blinks once, twice, and then you switch it over again. And it goes front input once and twice. So this actually has 5 inputs. It has fiber optic and coaxial on the rear, fiber optic and coaxial on the front, and if you option for the USB, that's additional money. Okay, I don't have just wallpaper. That's additional money for that. And you get RCA and XLR, and they tell you it doesn't matter if you plug them both in at the same time. Some DACs will get really finicky if you try to use both the XLR and RCA outputs at the same time. Geshelli Labs does not do that. There's also going to be the DayZ distribution DAC coming up, which is essentially a collab with me. In fact, I did a video of my raw board that I had him build, and then I didn't hear anything, and they're like, surprise, we're actually making the distribution DAC. So expect a review of that in the future. That'll be their flagship. Anyway, back to how much this shit costs. So fucking just purple. This one, by the way, the socketed one that they sent me, is made of purple heartwood, and I didn't know what that meant physically until I picked it up and went, Jesus Christ, because it solidly weighs twice as much. Like this is wood, and this is like wood. I would get the Purple Heart just so it stays in the desks more solidly. Anyway, let's go back to the pricing. So the J2, you can pick to put the USB module. It goes from $250 to $300. You can pick the AK44. It doesn't change price for between the 3 DAC chips you can choose, because it's the 4493, which is not the top of the line AKM DAC. And then you pick aluminum or wood. And then you have the choice of how much. So we're at 300 now. And then you could take it up $50, $70, $90 for Canary. This Purple Heart is $70 to get a $70. Zebra wood. The custom ones are $100. So like this is a custom one. This one is beyond custom. This is Grumpy Goose does these by hand, and you have to buy a slot on his Etsy. Like he puts them up, and it's like, hey, you bid on it, and then you can get the case from Grumpy Goose. But yeah, he's doing all the crazy carvings for all their big end stuff, and then Grandpa's doing these simpler boxes that don't require you to be a madman and carve. We all know what that looks like. I don't have to say it. Anyway, so these are like $100, and these basic pattern ones range anywhere up to 100. I think that's zebra wood, which is 100. So it's this and this are the same price, because that is expensive fucking wood. Red oak, purple, whatever. The point is, the most you can spend on a J2 is $400. You could up the USB module. You could change it to wood. That's what you got. You go to the socketed, the one I've got here. The one that they give you a little tool, just fall on the floor. They'll let you do this. God, this thing weighs so fucking much. And you get to swap out an op amp, a stereo op amp for the RCAs, separate from the 2 op amps for the XLR balanced. So you get to swap out 3 op amps. And what that means is you get to buy the op amps. So let's say we wanted to add the USB module like this one has. So that's $50. So it starts off $260. So it goes up to, oh God, it's got, it automatically, here we go. If we drop everything to zeros, hold on. We're dropping it to zeros. All right, we're going to make a wood case. Obviously wood case. Bloodwood. All right, we're going to go right to the zebra. No. Wenge. So now we've got a $410 case. Thing. It's socketed, but we've given it no upgrades. Now we can choose either the Burson 5 eyes for $70, which is here, these guys. That's a Burson op amp. Again, I'll remind you, op amps are the operational amplifiers. They essentially they tell the amplifier how to work. It's the instruction set. And so an op amp can change the way the DAC, amp, anything sounds. Like this doesn't get hot. It's not something that actually generates heat and creates the voltage. This just tells the rest of this unit how to work. And on the regular J2s, they're soldered into the board because it's super easy. For $10 extra, you can make it only $10 extra and at least give yourself the option to pop these things in and off the board. So we can go, all right, so now we're at let's see, what are we at? $479 because we upgraded to the Bursons. But these aren't Bursons. These are Sparkos Labs Dual Op Amp SS3602. So those are $158 for a pair. Those right there. So now we got to go, oh, Jesus Christ. So now we're at $567. But wait, there's more. Since you could also do a separate one for the RCA, which is super fucking cool, which means you could have 2 different sound profiles in one DAC. Now you get to choose a single, and it's supposed to be a single. I have this wild adapter that goes in and lets you put 2 mono op amps because it's stereo op amp. I just have this adapter to put these weird ones that weird dude handed me, and they sound so good. You get 1 Burson for $35 or 1 extra Sparkos for $80. So if you got Sparkos for this and 1 Sparkos for this and USB and wood, and then finally the last thing, the DAC chip, the actual, there right there, it says AKM. The actual DAC chip, you can go from the AK4493, which is like the run-of-the-mill one that most people put in their DACs, or get the fucking flagship. And I mean like the flagship, like when you get a $1,000 topping DAC, that's what's in it, the $4499, which is an extra $170. So now we've added the USB module, the $4499. You obviously want 2 Sparkos for the XLR. You want 1 Sparkos for the RCA. You're going to get it in a $100 wood case. You have an $816.97 American-made, except for obviously the DAC chips, DAC. That is a serious chunk of change. And the thing is, I've been running it on my desk here for a while, And when I started swapping op amps in it, the power. So my recommendation, if you're going to buy a DAC in the near future and it's around $300 what you have to spend, just buy the socketed. Don't buy any of the upgrades. I don't need USB. You probably don't need USB. I prefer fiber optic coaxial, which you get 4 of on this. So you could drop $50 right there. You don't need that. Wood case is entirely up to you. If you want to go fucking crazy with $100 zebra wood, or just honest to God, get this just to feel how heavy Purple Heart is. But the aluminum cases are like, they're nothing to slouch at. Look at the colors. Look at the colors. Okay. So if you went just straight aluminum, no USB, it's only $10 more to get the socketed. The only decision you have to make is if you're going to go for the $44.99. Are you going to get the big bad fucking AKM DAC? Because there is a difference. I want to say it's slight, so I'm going to, but it's there. It also means if you're going to spend the money to get the op amps, which you can do in the future, and you don't have to buy them from Geshelli Labs. They're hardly making any profit on them. They're just selling you the option. You can go online. You can go to Burson directly. You can go to fucking Sparkles Labs directly. Get them later. Get the socketed DAC now. Spend as little or as much as you want to get it set up. If you got it with just the $44.99 and no extra op amps, it would just come with these standard little, actually it came with these guys right here, which I don't even know what these are. They're little cute little things. Oh, just get the standard op amps, get the better DAC module, skip USB, and then if you want to spend the extra $100, so get yourself an under $500 DAC, and in the future, you have the ability to upgrade. This will even fit, I believe it'll fit the big Bursons, the really tall ones in there, which I think I might have some stuck in a thing. Anyway, so yeah, that's madness. That Geshelli Labs, I've always like, when are they going to make something higher end? They snuck this under the radar because you literally can just make it. You can click a couple boxes and some little baggies show up and it's like, oh shit, this is expensive now. And it sounds, all right, so I've got it going through the Musician Andromeda, which is, I didn't want to put it through one of their amps because I figured there's bias in their amps for their DAC. Fuck that. This, I haven't pulled out in a hot minute. And I'm wearing, I don't think I took these off the entire review, 8XX. And I just had a bunch of shit on the table here. But I could just tell you by unpausing this. Now I know that there's some, the amp is obviously responsible for a good chunk of how a headphone sounds. But I know how these headphones sound. And I know how that amplifier sounds. And trying to contemplate how good this DAC is my job. So when I switch through this and go to Danny Elfman, and all of a sudden it's like soft. And ooh. Oh, it's like, there's oohs and ohs that come out of the sound of this. That's like, that's smoother. That's the only way I could describe it. If music was sand, this shit is fucking talcum powder. It is just so fine. You could just feel that. Like you stick your hand in it, it's like, it's sand. It's whatever it is. Then you go like, oh, it's like you smoked 6 blunts and ran onto the beach naked. And all of a sudden it's like, the sand is so cold, man. I had a friend who got high. I wasn't doing anything, but he was high as a kite. And we were in New Jersey on the shore. And it was night. We're just going for a walk. And he's like, he took his shoes off and started walking in the cold sand. He wouldn't shut the fuck up about the sand. This is my cold feet sand. Put that in a bullet point. Rachel, it's fine. It's one of those things that you get to be proud of. It's another thing too, is like most audio equipment just sits on a shelf and it's like, there it is. Look, there's stacked Dacs, there's a fucking R2R. There's a Musician Pegasus, which is the R2R version of that. But it's like, it's there. It's like, yeah, it's nice. It's like $1,100. It's sitting there, just whatever it is. These are art. Even if you get the aluminum case, that's fucking art. I've got a fuckload of other Dacs I have to do. I was going to include them in this video, but it's too much to say about this. A bunch of SMSL and topping things that are just going to be like, it's a DAC. It's going to be just a DAC. That said, Here's the whole reason I'm starting this video. I heard the difference between a $300 American-made DAC, not a Geshelli Labs, that was balanced out, and then I swapped to a Chinese SU10 DAC, and I'm blown away by the difference on this setup here. Actually, we're gonna go set up right now. So, excuse me, ma'am. We'll be back. We'll be right back. Hold on. So here, pause that. This is my little, I'm sure there'll be an entire video on these speakers. They're the Supermon Minis from Monacoustics. These are the ones I saw at Capital Audio Fest. And I've got this whole weird, super near field, ultra soft thing going on. And there is the SU10 DAC, and the JDS Labs DAC that I took out is not here. And it sounds amazing. So now let's see what happens when I shut. Well, first we're going to shut the speaker amps off so we don't blow anything up. I'm going to swap out to the socketed DAC with all those beautiful op amps we've got in there and see what kind of difference it makes. In fact, ooh, we might even be able to test out the two different DACs. 1 second. Or the two different op amps. Yep. All right, so what I'm looking for is that the speakers disappear. And on the lesser DAC, it didn't happen. It was like I'm listening to these fucking violent little Korean things screaming at me. And when I switched to the higher end SMSL DAC, it was like, ooh. And now on this, if I just start shuffling through, this is Hiromi Uhira. U-E-H-A-R-A. Hiromi. The way you think you spell it. This is duet. And it's just like, oh, that smoothness is here. Also, I have a recommendation. When you buy it, get the RCA op amp, because I can switch between the two. The XLR is obviously louder if I do that and lower it. But you get to compare the difference between the stock op amps and the RCA, which would have a single, you'd end up paying $80. Or if you get the burst and you get the single one, I think it was $60, $50, whatever it was. So you get the XLRs, and this way you could always upgrade those with whatever you want later. Just so you can tell, because you'll actually, like in this, with those weird wild op amps that I just got from a random dude, like it sounds, I would listen to this on the RCA. Because it's got that double stack with the singles. Oh man, it's just like if I shuffle, which I don't have, it's such a shuffle. Absolutely 100%. I can't play much here. We're going to have to finish this on the desk, but this setup with the Savage A10As and the Supermon Minis at this distance with nothing but soft materials and the subwoofer inline, and then I'm using the big knob here, the Mackie big knob, which can switch between the two things and switch outputs and dim and mute and mono off of a straight DAC. This is some sort of life. I don't know what life, but I'm living it. Oh no, keys on guitar. Whoa, where's that coming from? So in other words, yes, this absolutely makes a difference. A good difference, the sort of difference that I can palpably know. So did Dacs make a difference? To answer the question at the beginning of this video. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate that you have to spend money for them. Boom. All right, I'm back. That's the end of the video. Thank you for stopping by. Patreon, subscribe, so support this channel. Totally, this is not still over there. Magic of editing. Patreon, subscribe, so support this channel. Support. Well, if you're not an American, obviously you can still buy Geshelli Labs stuff if you can get it shipped to you. You just have to get the right power bricks, because it just runs on power bricks, like little tiny guys. See reviews early, a lot early. A lot of these videos are going to sit up there for months. I'm scheduled through Christmas, and it's like December 11th. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of videos. There's like 2 weeks worth of videos. $5 a month. See reviews early. Participate in yard sales. 1st to the 10th of every month I sell things. I don't know if I'd ever... you know what? I'd probably sell this Geshelli stack, because I have literally upgraded versions of all of these. And I feel like that needs a good home and not just sitting on my shelf. So maybe that'll end up in a yard sale. Check for it. Check for it, you bastards. And that is a J2, just not a socketed. Also get to hear sound demos that have all disappeared from the internet because lawyers. Also new sound demos there. There are videos of them, and I get to pick any music I want and get to use any wallpaper I want, which I take advantage of fully. And then there's the $10 a month. Get you in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat where you could ask me questions directly. There's 200 people in there. I'm preempting, let's say to this 200. We're like 5 away. And once you're in there, you could ask me questions directly. And there's a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. So if you do have an older Geshelli Labs stack, you could feel free to put that up for sale and buy the new socketed one. Which, by the way, I wouldn't necessarily run this like floating as a board. But it's pretty simple on the bottom. Like, there's not much you could do. Just don't ground it out. Don't lay it on a fucking screwdriver or anything. And you only need, does this tell me what size this is? The instructions tell you what size the screw is to take that off, and it's just 2 in the back. You just take it off, boop, pops out. When it's time to put it back in, there's no like slot, so you basically just, it's still attached to the rear. You just put it on in there gently like a baby, and then it actually is easier when you have the XLRs plugged in there. Once you get the power buttons through the front, I should probably talk about how the operation works. So yeah, see that yellow LED? Don't like that? Boom, change it. Green, red, off, white, turquoise, purple, blue, yellow, green, red, off. Honestly, I would almost leave it off, or I would, when I pull this out, I would just get like some either hot glue or something to just make it opaque, because it's just a bright, blinding LED that's right in your eyes. I wish they like frosted the front, and they used to frost the front of the glass too, which would make it light up a little better. And then you have your input between, well, that's the inputs on the front, back. I'm just swapping them all now. That's USB is when they roll it up. And actually, you have to basically have the music playing to figure out what the hell's going on. Boom, James Horner, Penny's Rescue from the Rocketeer. And then if you hold this down, blinks twice, it means it's on the second gain. Blinks 3 times on the third gain, which is the lowest gain. So it's actually very quiet now. So it's still playing, it just lowers the voltage output. So instead of having a full volume knob for a DAC, it's just got full out, I think it's 60% and then like 40%. I'm just might be making those numbers up. But you can, if you have a very hot source, like you're using, I don't know, maybe an X2O 604, the tube hybrid that has the fucking crazy volume controls that kill you immediately. Get this, lower it down, plug it into that, works great. I'm gonna keep listening to these headphones. All right, I'm gonna go now and not do the thing that happened in the middle of this video, right? Cool, cool, cool. See you in the next one.